Hello, welcome to the physical practice for today, and we're going to be staying on the floor today. I think we've done quite a lot of active stuff, so I thought we'd stay on the floor today and do some yin yoga. So basically I've talked about fascia today in the practice, in the talk, and so I thought we'd do some yin practice today. Now yin just works deeper into the tissues, and it's basically all about the fascia, really, working into the harder tissues, really, like bone as well. And it's a kind of, the yin tissues are a bit more drier, less elastic, so they need kind of like gentle pressure that kind of slowly works into them, really, in order to kind of stimulate the kind of stretching side of things, really. So really there's just a few principles to adhere to for yin yoga, and what I'd like you to do is come into each of the poses today just at an appropriate depth. Nothing where you're kind of shaking or just having to hold your teeth tight or your jaw tight, you know. And I just want you to play with the edges, kind of go in and out of them. It's a bit like a dance, really, isn't it? Coming in and out. You're dancing with your mind and your egotistical mind, as well as dancing with what you're physically able to do. So there's this dance between mind and your physicality the whole time. So you just go to where you feel there's a significant resistance, really, in your body, and just giving your body that chance to open up, you know. And after maybe 30 seconds or so, you know, you'll find that you'll be able to go deeper, and definitely using your breath as well, in unison with that movement, in unison with your thought processes and with your physical body, all allows you to be able to listen and respect what's going on for you today. There's that famous quote, you know, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, grant me the courage to change the things I can, and grant me the wisdom to know the difference. So I invite you to do that today. Just use your body, get into the pose, and get the pose, use the body to get, use the pose to get into your body rather than the other way round. So you need to pause at the edge and go inside and just notice how it feels. And that's where we're going to start today. So if everybody wants to lie on their backs for me, first of all, to start off with. And let's see where you feel today. So I'm outside again today because it's a beautiful day. So either I invite you to go outside as well, or just lying down in wherever you feel most comfortable and most safe today. And start to follow your breath. Start to take your mind out. Here I can hear the wind through the leaves, the birds. I can feel the warmth of the sun on my skin. So flow with your breath, just as the wind flows through the leaves. And with each breath, feel that expansion and contraction of your body. Just noticing the connection between your external world and the internal world. Just stilling the body. And when you're ready, you might want to invite an intention up for your practice today. And you might want to have that intention as connection. Do you want to connect with yourself on a deeper level today? Do you want to connect with your mind? Do you want to connect with your body? Or do you want to connect your body and your mind together? Is it a person that you feel that you've lost connection with that you would like to connect with once again? Is it something that you feel you haven't done for a while, that you felt really connected with when you did it? Is there an activity or even a place where you last felt connected with yourself and with the earth? So just have that intention today of connection. Connecting breath, connecting body, connecting mind. And then when you're ready, just bend your knees up into the chest, just hugging the knees up into the chest. You can gently rock them if that feels good for you today. And then just bringing the feet mat width apart. I just want you to allow your knees to just drop over towards the right hand side. Just allow them to flop. If you want to open up through the chest and shoulders, then just have your hands cactusing your arms. So having them at 90 degrees, 90-90. And with every deep breath and with every exhale, feel yourself sink into the pose just that little bit more. Allow yourself that space and time to go deeper. And then when you're ready, take an inhale, lifting up the knees, and let's just bring them over towards the opposite side. And again, just allow everything to sink. No need to rush. Slowing the breath, mindful breathing. You may want to even pause. Notice the pauses between the inhale and the exhale. Noticing the stillness in the breath at the end of each inhale and exhale. Okay, so just a couple more breaths here, deepening that breath further. And then inhaling your legs back to center and just pushing yourself up to a seated position. So once you're in this position, we're going to work on some twists. And so I want you to first of all straighten out the left leg for me. And with the right leg, so there are different kriyas for this, so you can straighten out the left leg, and with the right leg just bending that right knee in. If that feels like that's enough for you today, all I want you to do is hold on to that knee and straighten up through the spine, squeezing the shoulder blades together and bring them down, so you're opening up through the front of the chest, okay? Pulling up through the left toes and just tightening slightly through the quads on that side. We're actually working on the rotation, so we're going to be twisting towards the right. So this is bus stop number 1, as I always say. Bus stop number 2 is bringing that right foot over. But if you're bringing that right foot over, make sure the bottom doesn't lift off the floor, the mat. Just keep it on the floor. And again, we're going to be twisting towards the right. If you want to go a little bit deeper today, you can bend that left leg in, and again, as long as that right bum cheek stays on the floor, we're all good to go. Okay, so choose any of those 3 bus stops for me, any of those 3 positions, but everyone together, we need to make sure, excuse me, that we're sitting up nice and straight. Okay, so my spine is nice and straight here. Try not to roll back on the pelvis. We need to be sitting up on the sit bones. And then hug the right knee with your left arm and inhale that right arm up towards the sky. Exhale, bringing it behind you, and rotate that shoulder down. So you're trying to squeeze the shoulder blades towards the spine, okay? Opening up through the chest, okay? So then from here, take a deep breath in, and then exhale, find your first edge. So when we go into our rotations, we can take a deep breath in, exhale, and rotate just maybe through the lower portion of the tummy. On your next inhale and exhale, rotate through the lower ribs. And then when you breathe in and out again, exhaling, rotating through the shoulders. The last thing that you rotate through will be the head. So with your next inhale, exhale, rotating through the head. Only if your neck is comfortable with this. And the whole time we're just holding onto the knee, drawing the knee in towards the chest, keeping the back nice and straight the whole time. So big breaths in and breathing out. Find your new edge. It's finding that Goldilocks position. If there's no pain there, just remain. If there's pain, then come away. This shouldn't be something that makes you tighten up or tense up at all in any description whatsoever. It's being slightly in your outside of your comfort zone, really. You're kind of not meant to be comfortable in yin yoga to a certain degree. And you kind of have to stay, really, despite the mind's urges to want to leave. But again, if there's pain, you need to come back and come off it. What we're looking for is that stretch within the fascia. You might at this point find that you can go a bit deeper, so you can bring that left arm round a little bit more as you rotate further round. Again, this is a first posture for today, so you need to just be kind to your body. If you normally bind, you can bind, but actually I'm looking more for a real extension through the spine today. And quite often binding makes people just lose their posture just a little bit. So I'd rather, even if you have binding within your practice today, to maintain this beautiful upright posture instead, working through the spine and rotating purely through that midline. Just a couple more breaths here, and notice how much further you've gone as a result of staying in this position just for a wee bit longer. Lovely. Okay, so if you're in the full position, what I'd like you to do now is just bring that top leg and just bring it over across the top as we go into log pose. So you might find that one knee, that right knee, is really, really high up. If you had the left leg straight out, just cross the ankle over the top above the kneecap of your left leg, and we're just going to work on external rotation through here, okay, through the hip. So you can use your hand to just gently push down through, and it's more of a kind of 45-degree angle, so we're working into traction through into the hip. It's more into the capsule actually. It's a really good stretch. So you can stay in this position with the left leg straight out, or you can go into double pigeon, log pose, and bring your legs into this position. Okay, so you might have one knee up. You can always put a block underneath if that feels better for you. Beautiful for the hips, this is. So again, sitting up straight for me. And just observing where you are. So when you look down, you should see like a nice triangle, and one leg should be on top of the other. Don't worry if one leg's higher up than the other. You will notice over time that it will start to go down. Any knee problems, then please don't do this pose. Make sure that you just have your just one leg out, and just work with just bringing that leg, that knee down. Even if you're in Janu Sasana, doing it this way instead, just that's just really just as good, just as perfect. It's what works for you. It's finding your own Goldilocks position, basically. because all we're trying to do here is just apply just a little bit of stress to our tissues, really, and that creates health. Okay, any stress through an area is actually stimulatory for the connective tissue, but too much, obviously, and then the tissue starts to degenerate. And that's the same with mental stress as well. Too much mental stress actually causes things to degenerate, so aging processes are increased. So actually trying to find a way to live compassionately for yourself actually is great for aging as well. So we're always trying to make sure that the tissues are healthily stressed, but not to the point where we start to go in the opposite way and cause tissue degeneration. It's just making sure that we reach our tolerance levels and understand the balance between stress and rest. So if you're feeling a bit more comfortable here, if that's the right word for you, then you can start to come forwards. So you can just place your fingertips onto the floor. Keep that back nice and straight. What we're looking for is to tip the pelvis forward as if your pelvis is a bowl of water. We're just tipping that water out in the front. Certainly need water today. It's pretty warm today. But it's lovely to do it outside. So, big deep breaths. So remember, to go deeper, we need to hold these poses for longer. So closing your eyes. Is there anything you're holding on to? Is there anything that's you're gripping hold of? Can you try and let go? If you can, walking your hands further forward still. Or carry on sitting up straight. There's no reason why you need to go forwards. You can continue to put pressure on that right knee. But you just notice over time, as you're here for longer and longer, things start to change. And actually that happens in life as well. Sometimes you just have to breathe. Allow a flow of breath. It's acceptance almost. That to go deeper, to be able to move forward, you actually need to find stillness first, to find your balance, find your center. And again, if you feel you can go any deeper, feel free. And you'll notice as we've stayed here longer, you're noticing that you're able to go deeper. I've gone deeper. Noticing if there's any resistance, any tension, just noticing it. If you feel like you're beginning to hold onto it, actually you need to come away again. Just come up and out of it. Okay, to get out of this pose, just leaning backwards and everybody together, just windscreen wiper your feet. So having the soles of your feet on the floor and just windscreen wiper from side to side. That wind is nice. Okay, shall we do the other side? So as you can see, we don't do as many poses in yin. But it is about just holding those poses for longer. So straightening out the right leg for me now. Let's have a look at the time. Okay. And again, we can either have the left foot we can have the left foot on the floor, knee bent up, sitting up nice and straight, giving it a hug. And we're going to be turning towards the left this time, okay? If that feels good for you, then absolutely stay there. Or feel free to bring that left foot, over the top of the right leg, pulling up through the right toes, tightening through the quads just a wee bit, pushing the back of the knee down into the floor, and again holding on with that right arm with the knee. Full posture, if you want to, is just bringing and tucking that foot underneath, but making sure that the left buttock doesn't follow you. Okay. And then sit up nice and straight for me, hugging through on that left-hand side this time. Take a deep breath in, lifting up, really reaching towards the sky, and then exhale as you bring that hand behind you. Now, the reason we bring it behind, we can use that as a second spine. So if you have got it behind, to show you here, try not to have it too far away. If you have it too far away, I'm actually leaning backwards and I'm not sitting on my bottom bones. So having it forwards, it forces me to just sit up a little bit straighter. Okay, so from here, taking a deep breath in and exhale, let's work through the lower part first of all, so through the tummy. Taking a deep breath in again, breathing out, rotate a bit further through into the lower ribs. And again, take a deep breath in on your next exhale, moving through the upper ribs and the shoulders. And then finally, taking a breath in, on your next exhale, rotating through the neck if that suits you, if that feels comfortable for you. And then breathe, find your edge there. Big breath in, extend through the spine, exhale as you find space to rotate, and notice what your fascia is telling you the whole time. It's finding that edge, and once you find that edge, just pause there, use your breath, find kind of like a search and rescue mission yourself, but with your breath. Breathe into any tensions that are there. Notice how it feels. Just go inside. And accept that one side will be different to the other. No side is the same. It's holding on to that discomfort edge and seeing where your mind goes as a result of that. Are you holding on but you're in pain? Because if so, you need to come off. And is that something where what you do in life, do you hold on to the painful things and not allow things to just step back just a little bit to give you that perspective? Because sometimes you just need to take a breath and give it the space it needs. Okay, last breath now for me. As you exhale, just bringing yourself round to the front. And again, if you've got that right leg out, you can just rest that left leg either on the floor in Janu again, or you can have the left leg over the top of the right above the kneecap, and we're working at that 45-degree angle again. I put my right hand back and just really working into the capsule. This is lovely. Obviously, anybody with hip replacements, or knee, it's a bit tricky on the knee, and definitely not if you've had a hip replacement. So take a deep breath in, breathing out and stretch through. Or if you want to go into log pose again, just doing on this side. And you'll notice, my knee's a bit higher to start off with on this side. But I know over time, as I just start to sink and my fascia just starts to relax, it just starts to go. It just allows it to happen. And you have to allow these things to happen, actually. And yin yoga can be quite egotistical, really. It's you want to be able to feel that significant stretch there because it just feels good from an egotistical point of view. But you also need to be able to stay there and stay calm, still feeling your breath. Because actually, if you try and push it and go further still, then you're working more into the egotistical side of things, really. And that's not really embracing yin. Yin is about accepting where you are It doesn't matter whether one side is higher than the other, quite often, and usually it is. So giving each side as much love and attention as it possibly can. So we're using these poses to get into our body. We're learning about what's going on, learning what side's a little bit more tight than the other, you know, and does that explain any physical issues that you've been having, you know, and also what emotions come up as a result of being in these positions for a more intense period of time. Keeping the back nice and straight again, making sure you're lifting up through the sit bones. You're sitting on the sit bones. You can always use a block underneath the bottom if that helps. And then when you feel ready, you can take the pose further, either pushing the knee down if your knee is higher up, or now my knees come down, I'm going to just see if I can go forwards a little bit more. But I'll do it literally millimetre by millimetre. It's staying just outside of my comfort zone here. It's not meant to be that comfortable, but it's meant to be just about okay. And it's that staying there despite the mind's urges to leave. So many times we want to run away from things and hide, or just misunderstand our bodies or misunderstand our minds or other people. If we can just stay there, stay within it and breathe. Finding the stillness there gives us the space to be able to see things differently, to be able to feel things differently, and acknowledge things from a slightly different viewpoint. So that when we are taken to the edge, whether it be physically or emotionally, we have a much more deeper understanding of ourselves, of the people around us, of our physicality. And yin yoga's lovely for that. It's that a chance to just invite yourself to go deeper. It's about respecting your body and your mind. Enjoying the quietness in the stillness of the body, in the stillness of the breath. Again, going as deep as you feel comfortable today. And you can always come back out as well. So there's no reason, you don't need to, you can go to one place and actually after a few breaths you feel it's not quite right, come back out. If it's compromising the pose, compromising your breath, then come away from it. Is there anything you're gripping hold of? Are you holding through your pelvic floor tight? Is there an area of tension within the hips? Is there an area of tension around the groin? Again, notice these things. Is it something that actually is too much? You know, give yourself that space, just let go. Accept that that's where you are today. Okay, next inhale, coming all the way up and just letting your legs come out. And again, windscreen wipering your legs. My mat is getting hotter and hotter as we speak. Okay, so I'm going to finish off with, oh, there's so many poses I want to do today. So I'm going to finish off with pigeon. We've not done pigeon for a while. So those of you that are finding pigeon quite difficult to do, what I'd like you to do is just be compassionate with yourselves. Pigeon is not an easy position to go into. If it's not good for you today, we're going to start at the most accessible and we'll go from there. So going on to your right bum cheek, okay, and just have your feet at 90-90, so your legs are at 90-90, and you can stay in this position. So when you're in this position, just watch for anybody with knee problems. You might need to bring that knee further in. There should be no pain. You can feel that you should feel that significant stretch, but there shouldn't be any pain there. If there is, move your feet into a position where you know you can still feel it within the hips, okay? From here, just stay there, sitting up nice and straight for me. For those of you that have a deeper practice, you can start to bring that right foot right in. If you've got knee problems, bringing it right in might be a little bit more useful for you today. And straighten up that back leg. And then try and come off the right bum cheek and try and start coming on to get your pelvis nice and level. So this again might be more accessible for people with knee problems. And here what I'd like you to do is try and tuck your tailbone under and pull in through your tummy just a little bit, and then extend through the upper part of your back. So we're not dumping into the lower back, we're actually lifting up at a 45-degree angle with our bodies to start off with. So those of you that don't have knee problems and are feeling good today, you can always bring that foot out, that front foot out, that right foot out to wherever you feel is comfortable. I generally have to hold on to it and then come into the full pose. And then sink. So we're going to come onto our forearms. And this is a beautiful stretch for the hips. And we've kind of warmed them up by doing log pose already. You can go all the way down if you feel comfortable. And stay there and relax. I always find this a kind of love-hate position, really. But just pay attention, really, to what's going on. Remember, we're connecting. That's the idea of this practice today. Have that intention of connecting mind and body. Listening to what your mind is saying, listening to what your body's saying. And again, you might find you're going slightly deeper. Just breathe into any tensions you find, any pain come away. And then when you're ready, just coming all the way up, just going onto all fours and just going around in circles with your hips. Going one way and going the other, just stretching everything out, and let's do the other side. So onto your left bum cheek this time, and just sitting onto that left bum cheek, 90-90 with your hip, with your legs, sorry. And then again, in this position, actually, you can just go forwards again, working into there, working over that front leg. Or you can go into the full posture again, which is straightening out that back leg. And again, sinking. So again, I can feel that I'm a little bit tighter on this right hip, so this right pelvis, so I have to allow things to sink. So you just allow that to happen. Just allow it to happen. Just surrender, really. And watching your body, watching your thought processes. Try not to get too involved. Just acknowledging that they're there. And feel free to go lower if that feels right for you today. Closing your eyes. Connecting body and mind. Remembering that quote, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Grant me the courage to change the things I can. And grant me the wisdom to know the difference. So find your edge. Pause. Go inside. Okay, just take a big deep breath, and as you exhale, we're going to come out of this pose, again going onto all fours, and then just going round in circles, and then we're going to go onto our backs for a lovely Shavasana. So just getting yourself nice and comfortable. And I'm going to invite you just to sink into your mat. Feel the difference compared to how it was when you first arrived on the mat today. And I'm going to leave you here in an extended Shavasana today. And remembering your connections, focusing on the connections with your physical body, your breath, your mind, understanding that unity of function between everything, understanding that connection between yourself, the people around you, the environment that you're in, understanding and connecting with the earth. The light in me honours the light in you. Namaste.